Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Hello!
Hey!
We are back! Hello, mate. It's bloody good to see you.
And you, Sam, at 2024, my friend, eh?
Who
Eh?
would have thought back in, when was it, 2021 when we first started doing this? Who would have thought back then that we'd still be going now? I mean, it was touch and go whether you'd still be going at all, but no, I'm not going to start the year with some negatives.
Let's face it, mate, after a busy Christmas, Panto and Grotto, well, it's just about, we're lucky to be here anyway, aren't we? Let's face it.
Barely standing, yes.
Barely standing.
But yeah, so hello everyone, welcome back to Drewling Samantics, or to anyone new, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Welcome.
My name is Sam, this is my wonderful colleague Drew. I say colleague, that's very formal. He's my mate. He's my
buddy. Yes. But we haven't seen each other.
What? No.
Yeah, I mean, we seriously haven't seen each other for several weeks now because of work. And it has to be said, Sam, I mean, what are we doing this? Where are we? What are we doing?
Yes. Okay. So
wrong.
We don't want to start 2024 with a moan, but I'm going to start 2024 with a moan because right now what we should be doing is sitting in a pub, having a chat, having a bit of a laugh, having recorded our first episode of 2024 and the first episode of Series 10, Season 10. We should be sat in a pub celebrating that together.
Absolutely.
But we're not, because of bloody train strikes, right? So we had so many things set up and we were all ready to go and we were looking forward to being at my flat and doing a proper first episode like we like to do. No. So the strike action had other ideas, and then we'd organised this, and they bloody cancelled it anyway. I did. Yes. So
you can't rely on anyone. The only person in this instant I can rely on is you, mate. And to be there for our wonderful fans, listeners, subscribers, downloaders, whoever. Welcome back. We are here for you. We
are here. We apologise that we're not sat next to each other. We are on the Zoom, as we tend to be when we're both working in different places and whatever else. But we're going to make a solemn promise right now, aren't we, Drew, that we will do an episode together at the flat very, very soon.
Oh, definitely. Very, very soon.
We just have to wait for the train drivers to stop striking or not be striking, but actually let us know they're not going to be striking and give us some notice, or for that to all be sorted, and for all the sort of things to land in the right place so we can do what we want to do properly.
And to be perfectly frank, mate, I mean, to venture out at this moment in time, it's a bit nippy out there. I don't know about, I mean, for an old soul like me, mate, it's.
Well, so we have to make sure you're wrapped up warm.
I have to be wrapped up, mate. Yeah. In cotton wool, yeah.
But and speaking of keeping warm, have you got a nice warm drink? Because I know
I've got. There we are. Drewling Samantics mug, Drewling Samantics coffee. Cheers, everyone. Whoa. Hang on a minute.
What's up?
I mean, two things to point out here.
Yeah.
For those of you that can't see Sam, I mean, he's a glorious sight at the best of times. However, I am holding my Drewling Samantics mug with my little drop of coffee. I'm going to have a little sip.
Yeah.
Sam Dunning, you are holding a mug. Now, one, it's a mug without any merchandising on it.
Because I bought you that and you didn't buy me one back.
Well, I'll buy you one back.
You're about to.
But hang on a minute. You're holding a mug.
Yes.
Is this a New Year's resolution? What's going on here? You should be holding a glass with beer in it. What's the matter?
Normally I'd have some amber liquid with a few bubbles. But no, you like start as you mean to go on. So cheers, mate. And do you know what?
I've got a horrible feeling. I know where this is going to go.
Yeah. Just 1 second. That's better.
And there it is.
You didn't really believe, did you?
No, I didn't, to be perfectly frank, mate. No. There it is. The beer is in hand. Well, Oh, pick
I've
me
got my
coffee.
beer back. I've got my beer back. Yeah.
Cheers, mate. There we go.
Cheers.
Lovely
Cheers
stuff.
to everyone.
Cheers.
Happy New Year. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas.
Absolutely.
Sorry we've been away for so long, but we have been, I think it's fair to say, Drew, solid. Absolutely, like, flat out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Glad to be back. Missed it immensely, but realistically, we wouldn't have been able to do this on top of everything else. I mean, for example, tell everyone, because I know your Christmas period was
Well, mine's been I've lost the beard now, but I was for those who don't know, I was along with wife and partner Verona. We produced a Christmas grotto at the Old Watermill in Barton. Many of you have heard me talk about this ad nauseam in the past, but we started the end of sort of midway through November. We did a day of shows, grotto Christmas grotto for children with special needs, and then we officially opened a week later to the general public, and we did other special educational needs sessions. But that was full on. Early in the morning until late at night. It's a rolling show, so there's groups of people in, groups of people coming in. It is very, very hard work. It's at times relentless.
Yeah.
However, there were some wonderful moments of people sort of coming in, and children. The lovely thing is, children still like to believe, or still believe. And when I had hundreds of letters to Santa, children asking for, presents and Christmas wishes and blah. And there was just occasionally when I was there was a little story involved of how the reindeer discovered the magic moss mine. And it's a lovely little magical moment. And there was moments where I looked, and I'm very close proximity to the children. You looked in their face and you go, actually, they are listening and believing this. And there were some very heartwarming moments of like that. And you think, if I just reach 2 children or people during that, I've done my job. And there were more moments than that. So yeah, we really, really enjoyed it. It was, it was production wise, it was successful. Financially, this is always a little bit of a lull after the panto season, the Christmas season. So, as you know, Sam, and most performers know, and most theatres and venues know, Christmas keeps them going for a wee while. So that's it is also a vital financial time for theatres and performers. So from a personal finance point of view, it went well as well. So, but it was and also the weather was with us this year, because there was the bad weather didn't hit, so people were able to get out and about, and I think that helped a lot of people and a lot of venues this year, that there wasn't bad weather, and people were able to get out and visit things. And I believe from talking to other actors and producers that it has been a very good season for panto.
So obviously not sort of withstanding those that are still going now, because there are
a few
the big ones that are still running. In fact, I think some of the biggest run till February, which is madness, and starting in November, like you say,
extraordinary
long runs. Both of us, we both finished Christmas Eve. For obvious reasons for you, because
there's no need afterwards.
People aren't really interested in Santa anymore, are they? And my panto run was a slightly shorter one this year. It was at a different venue. Wonderful, wonderful time. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But appreciate there are some shows still running now, and actually the bad weather seems to have hit more now. We've had a little bit of snow and it's been quite icy, but nothing compared to next year. I don't know if you remember last year. I was at the Chequermead Theatre in East Grinstead. Wonderful. And I went back to my flat and it was -12, my car said at one point. And I remember the car parks being nightmares. And so, last year, snow-wise and weather that sort of prevented people perhaps going to shows was a lot more invasive and harder to deal with. But it's a little bit now. But we certainly had a calmer season this year weather-wise.
Did help.
And equally, and again, touch wood, and I don't want to jinx anyone that's still going, but I think from a health point of view, I think there's a lot less fear of things like the unwelcome guest, and It's inevitable. Anyone that's done pantomime or worked in pantomime knows that inevitably people get ill because you're in close proximity, you're spending a lot of time together, you're working really hard, long hours, late nights, and you do tend to get, we'd call it a panto lurgy, or a lot of
Yeah.
people tend to get ill. And then go back a couple of years and the unwelcome guest and that sort of cancelling shows, and meaning that understudies were used a lot more. Touch wood, things have been better. I know
They have,
it's
yeah.
still it still does exist. I'm not suggesting that it's not a negative, but we're a lot more prepared for things like that, and I think nearly everyone, all the sensible people, are vaccinated, and so that has helped as well. So I think certainly theatre has had a bit of a resurgence in the panto world this season just past. It's intriguing. I've been talking to a few people recently about stuff and talking about how life is back to normal. Well, actually, I still think that theatres and the performance industry is still feeling the effects. There are still massive changes that have been made, and we're still, if it's possible to believe, still recovering really from the whole lockdowns and things like that, and all the changes that were made. But
Yeah, I mean, I think as you say that theatres are. I mean, people are a little bit more willing to go out now, even though there is, there's a spending crisis or whatever. At Christmas, it's people go. This is the one time of year. If we can't, if we can't afford a holiday or we can't afford to do this, this is the one time of year when people go. Actually, we will celebrate. We will go to a panto. We will take the children to see Santa or whatever. And those experiences around Christmas, those events, are still very special.
Mm.
And I think people are even more willing now, because you said the unwelcome guest, it isn't raising its ugly head quite so much.
Yeah.
But I mean, even during a cost of living crisis, people are still. But I do see theatres, and I know we did as a production company. We looked at the cost of things and going, okay, we have to keep pace with things, but we've also got to take people's spending power or lack of into consideration. And I think a lot of theatres, a lot of venues were very good at that this year, going, okay, we're not going to do this.
It's that flexibility, isn't it? It's
they raised their production standards. I saw a lot more. A couple of years ago, there were a lot less people on stage because of obviously budget, and the production standards have risen themselves up, and now people are able to charge a little bit more for the tickets to cope with that.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show, how important this time of year and the productions and the events that take place are to people. And
on a slight side note, I also want to praise people's generosity. So as I said, obviously I was in Panto this year at the fantastic Barrington Theatre. Wonderful time. Jack and the Beanstalk, playing the villain as always. I don't know what it is about how I look, but people think,
I have no idea, mate.
Yeah, no idea.
No idea.
It's my go-to, obviously. But yeah, so I had a fantastic season. So thank you to the Barrington Theatre and Voulez-Vous Productions. It was just wonderful, wonderful Christmas. And congrats to everyone, all the cast. So Kev, Mia, Ashley, Tyler, Rachel backstage, and then Taya and Danny on Light and Sound. Just everyone there who was absolutely brilliant. But the reason I wanted to sort of mention that is because you're talking, obviously, there's some serious financial issues going on across the country right now. Lots of people struggling. But I wanted to praise people's generosity. So we were raising money for charity, as well as obviously putting the shows on, as you do. And we'd go out, and after every show, the entire cast went out the front to talk to people, to have pictures, to sign autographs if they wanted them. But we also had buckets there for charity. And the generosity of people, and I think obviously the Christmas spirit does come into play, but I think people are very aware everyone is struggling, or nearly everyone is struggling, and people are having to tighten up things, but they were still willing to give to those less fortunate. So a huge thank you to people in general for understanding that no matter how hard things are, there are those worse off that need support. And
There's always someone worse off.
Christmas always helps to show that, and always kind of proves that point. But yeah, it was lovely to see, and we raised some really good money for charity. So yeah,
well done.
Brilliant Christmas run. But
right,
Christmas is in the past now.
Gone.
We are
It's gone.
2024. It is a new year. It is a brand new season. And not only that, but it is season 10. And we
We're
are
double figures. Double figures.
It's madness. Cheers to that, mate.
You know, I was about to say, cheers to that, yeah.
And for anyone that's been with us from season 1, number 1.
Get alive.
Yeah, mate.
Get alive.
Words out of my mouth there. But equally, thank you so much for sticking with us. We must be doing something right, even if it's not just your mum that's listening, Drew. But yeah, so thank you all for coming back. And if you are just joining us, please go back and listen to all the other stuff, because there's quite a lot of it. And
there is.
Some of it is pretty good. But on
some of it is
and upwards. We've got some great stuff planned for this season. Number 1, we're going to get out and we're going to get together and actually meet up. And
yeah, we will actually get to a pub at some point together.
Yeah. We don't need to show you the bit of us going to the pub, but we'll show you the episode just before that. Or equally, Drew, we could do it just after that. It might make for an interesting episode.
Yeah. Does anybody deserve that? I don't think anybody needs to see.
No.
You know.
We need to earn being in the pub by doing an episode. We can't go to the pub and then do that. Yeah, exactly.
Wise choice.
But equally, lots of really amazing guests coming up. Some fantastic people. Cannot wait to chat to, find out about other areas of the industry. We're going to touch on some bits we haven't done before, which is quite an impressive feat, because we've been all over the place, and we have from comedians to techies to production to makeup to hair to everything, bit of everything, stunt people. We've done a bit of everything.
And we've had a couple of overseas guests as well. So we've gone global. Well, international. So yeah,
exactly. And we're going to continue doing that and try to bring really interesting people that you guys want to hear from. We've had some fantastic suggestions. Thank you as well. Actually, not to go back, but for all the content we've had whilst we've been off air, for want of a better phrase. The support as well. Like, obviously, social media has continued to go out. Equally, quick shout out, PicNick.
PicNick.
The man is a genius. Thank you for everything he does. He's still here. He's still releasing. You've probably seen the amazing artwork he's done. And on a side note, if anyone does need an artist or a graphic designer, let us know and we'll put you in contact, because he's just brilliant.
He is brilliant.
You're not having him. He's ours. But you can borrow him for a bit.
Yeah.
So
we'll loan him out. Yeah,
exactly that. So we're going to bring you lots of fantastic new guests, lots of content. There's so much going on in the industry at the moment. I mean, we talked about strikes earlier, with sort of the train stopping us doing this episode in person. The strikes have finished or have ended for writers out in the States, which obviously is big. Effect on stuff over here, more work coming in, things are picking up again, stuff that all of us, like shows that we're all addicted to and love to watch, they're going to start kicking back in again, that have been on pause for a while. So I think it's 2024 should be a big year for the industry, really positive. And equally for us, we've got lots to come, exciting stuff. We're going to get out and about. We're just going to bring you all the stuff that you guys love and want to see
and deserve.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, the things that you've earned by being our fans, followers, listeners, watchers, downloaders, supporters, and
mothers.
Yeah, mothers, long-suffering mothers. Yeah,
suffering mothers. To listen to this drivel.
And equally, we're going to do the usual, and we're going to get Drew on the news front. So, and I'm guessing, mate, you might have something, or at least a subject to address today. Even though we are the first episode back, you must have something for us.
Well, there's a couple of obvious things. We've just had the Golden Globes, so there've been a couple of things, and it was big news last year, and it's kind of carried on, because there was the Oppenheimer Barbie weekend where everybody was, what are you going to see? Are you going to see both? You know, Barbieheimer, whatever they called it, yeah. And it was very interesting to see how that played out in the awards, and we've obviously got the Oscars coming up, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays. But it was interesting that, I mean, big subject and a big actor both rewarded. You know, Oppenheimer, best actor, best picture, best director, and I guess it's not unusual that such a big subject should garner such a big response. However, interestingly, Barbie won the box office she did amazing business. So
Yes.
that's
Most money taken across all film and
all the
sort of
outlets, all theatrical outlets. Yeah, I mean it's great. I
incredible.
mean, so there are winners in both fields, and it was interesting to see how, and it will lead me on to something in a minute, how real life that story was taken so seriously. And I don't suppose you could get a bigger historical figure whose contribution was questionable, however, changed the whole way that we look at the world.
Of course.
And we all know there's conflict in the world at the moment, dreadful conflict, but that threat of that creation by Mr. Oppenheimer and his group of scientists, that changes everything. That's always at the back of everyone's mind, and it's given history and history of warfare and conflict.
Yeah.
That little dark shadow is always sitting there. So it's not surprising that it was it was a good film as well. Apart from anything else, it was a bloody good film. But the other real life insert in the moment, which is in the news and was also a great piece of telly, is Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
Indeed, yes, I did think you
a great piece of television. Just had it all been settled and had it been a sort of a historical look at what had happened, it would still have been a great story. Everyone would still be going, oh, I can't believe that bloody well happened. But the simple fact that it is still going on and has garnered so much public reaction. I mean, there was a very interesting Radio 4 documentary series about it, and that's when I first heard it. And that was several months ago, if not a year ago. And I listened to that as I was driving in the car to a couple of events and stuff. And I was going, that's bizarre. But then, the television series, recent series, has gripped the imagination of the country, and no one, and we all like little man versus the government or big bodies and it is the government, but I think it's an extraordinary story, and everyone is scratching their heads, and out of it has come a villain and a hero. So we've got it's like a pantomime. It is like a bloody pantomime. Yeah. You've got a villain, you've got a hero. A villain has gone, held her hands up now, given back a CBE, and now they're all going, Mr. Bates, Alan Bates should be given a knighthood. And it's like, we've gone from one extreme to let's sort the problem out first.
Well, yeah.
But it just goes to show that a good story, well told, in that medium, it's garnered public opinion. It will change bits of law, bits of legislation, so that people can get cleared of these erroneous, convictions. That's all happened via, the medium of entertainment, television, and it was a campaigning piece, or it became a campaigning piece, as well as a bloody good story of gross misjustice. But also, I watched it and thoroughly enjoyed it, not because just because of the subject, but also there were some damn good actors in there, and some of them were playing against type. And it was like, this is really well done. This is not melodramatic. This is not overdone. It was a factual piece. It could almost been it was almost a drama documentary, but it was really well done. And I thought, well, I'm glad that it's brought that injustice to light. But also, it was like, it's a bloody good piece of television. I mean, you couldn't go wrong if they'd have cocked it up. You'd have gone, well, what could you, how could you cock up a bloody good story like that with a bloody good script and some good actors? But it has gone on to show that, again, something taken from real life and well dramatized, it's achieved something positive,
So I have a thought on this, and I admittedly I haven't watched the series yet. It's on my list of things. So busy over Christmas, the TV piles up, doesn't it? You record.
Oh, catch up time, yeah.
January's like, right. Well, let's try and clear out all the saved programs and all the stuff that I'm behind on, and it's very much on my list of things to watch. And not to put a negative spin on it, but I'm going to ask a question or make a point. it's fantastic that what looks like now is going to happen is everything will be put right. Don't get me wrong, it's too little too late. We all know that. Like, all these people have suffered, the ones that went to prison, all the money they've lost, their lives are ruined, blah, blah, blah. Financially, they might be all right for a bit now, but that doesn't fix things. It's like people that you see all these documentaries about people wrongly imprisoned and then they get like a financial payout or whatever as an apology almost. And you're like, that's all very well, but it doesn't fix anything, does it? Like,
Doesn't give them their lives back.
That can't go back in time. But, and like I say, I don't want to appear negative, but isn't it sad and isn't it wrong that it's taken a TV program to fix this? Like, I'm sure the show's incredible. Everyone I've spoken to has said that, and obviously it's getting rave reviews, mainly because it's basically a documentary with a bit of dramatization, as you say. So yes, and there will be things that are added, a bit like the one about the cough scandal with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. There were bits in that were added to make the story run a bit better, but essentially it's based on true life. Lots of those things. Same with Oppenheimer. There are bits in there that won't have actually happened because you have to sort of spread it a bit to make it work theatrically. But the result of this is those people will have the solution that they rightly deserve. Too little too late. But how do we feel as a society that, and I'm quite confident in saying this, if that TV series had not been released, this would not be being solved now. Like the petition that was signed to remove, I don't know her name, and I don't think she deserves a mention even, but the woman who had a CBE that was head of the post office or whatever, she's now had to stand up and give back her CBE. The million people or million people plus that signed that petition to make her take her CBE away, how many people do you think would have signed that had this program not come out?
I agree. I mean, it is an ongoing a court case. It's an ongoing thing. The TV will speed the process up. And you're right. Yeah, it's interesting because there's a fine line between sensationalism and justice, and without the mild sensationalism or the sensation that series has created is put a bomb up the arse of justice and the government, and you're going to, you've got to sort this out now. And interesting, more cases have come to light because people feel, okay, we're being taken seriously. This happened to me, I did hear someone on the radio the other day, a politician or a civil servant or some such, and it was very interesting because it was like, well, I expected to hear that at some point, somewhere he's going to go, well, in the midst of all this, how many people, we're going to exonerate all these people. They're all going to have their convictions quashed. Well, how many people actually did commit fraud and are going to get away with that? It's like, you stupid bastard. One probably. But the other question that it raises, and I'm going to get off my soapbox in a minute, is like the company, Fujitsu. No one's gone to them and gone, you screwed up, guys. Your system didn't work. You were all lying as well. They are now supposedly. So I've seen lots in the news about it. I haven't watched the series, but I've seen lots in the news, and obviously now they're saying Fujitsu should be liable for some of the payout. Don't disagree there at all. No, I don't.
Then not dial back to the people in charge at the time at the post office should have gone, excuse me, your system doesn't bloody work. Like flag it up. Like, yes, it went through lots of testing, but the responsibility is both sides. Like,
it is.
I mean, it almost comes back to when we've talked about like gun safety and weapon safety on a set. Like, and I spoke to a friend of mine who's in the stunt world and does a lot of firearms and stuff. And I said, who do you personally, and it's off the record, and that's why I'm not saying a name, but who do you feel is responsible for the whole thing with God, what's his name? Can't remember. Jesus, that's Baldwin. Alec Baldwin. God,
Alec Baldwin.
The whole situation there, because we'd said very much like as an actor on set, if someone in charge of guns hands you a gun, if the weapons expert, if the safety person goes, that is safe, you go, okay, it's safe. He said yes, but equally you should sort of check and make sure that you're happy with that. You don't just trust what someone says. Is that not the same with Fujitsu? Like, this is all working, great. Okay, we'll have a look. Let's put it through a period of testing. I don't know. I don't know if that's addressed in the program.
Yeah. I would say I'd watch it and see what you think. And I mean, we'll get off the subject, but the one thing that strikes me, having watched it now and having listened to further evidence and whatever, what with all this going, didn't someone go, hang on a minute, is this not just coincidence? This is not a really nasty, horrible coincidence here that we ought to look at rather than criminalize as an error, and then we can work it out. I don't know why that was never. I mean, I think a lot of it was brushed under the carpet.
Well, from speaking to people that have watched it, they say that the individuals didn't know about each other. So when they were being told, right, you've stolen this or accused of stealing or whatever, they didn't know that others were being accused as well.
They had no idea of the numbs, no.
There's various other things in there. But yeah there's just and I'm not trying to belittle or say like this is wrong, but you kind of have to look at it from everywhere. And there are lots of things like the Tinder swindler, if you watch that on Netflix.
No, I haven't seen that, no.
Ripped a lot of young women off because he's a very attractive man, and he'd meet up with them and then he'd get them to pay for stuff. And we hear things about people being ripped off all the time. And by having programs like that, more people are willing to speak out, and more people are willing to like ask for help. And anything about mental health or body confidence and things like that, these programs do help people. And I'm not saying they're a bad thing. I'm just saying there's a little negative niggle in my mind that society require some actor on TV to do something for them to go, whoa, that's not right, we should do something about that. But
I mean, maybe it's the people feel powerless. I also wonder, and going back to the timing of the television series, whether it was a good time to put that story out, in so much as we have a government that people don't trust. Wow. So you've got not a soft target, but you've got a target. People go, yes, the bloody government. Yeah, look what they did to the post office. It did help that series land well. I mean, that sounds very negative but timing of things is very important. And I think they were fortunate. So that had gone out with a government that was seen in a very positive light. People may have been a little bit more, well, let's have a little think about this. It is dreadful, but the government say this. We've got a government that people don't trust at the moment, and a leader that is, that did help with that series to land, and it garnered public opinion against the post office more easily than if it had been a government that people were popular with.
But perhaps contrasting to that, do you think the government see this as an opportunity? And I'm not just saying perhaps Mr. Sunak, but we could be the ones that righted the wrong.
It right. Yes, I do. Yeah, it gives them an opportunity to play the savior of the peace and become the good government. So yeah,
like politics and things intriguing, isn't it?
It is intriguing. It is intriguing, mate.
Different ways. All I know, mate, is I'm very much looking forward to next week, where we can have a bit of a natter and we can bring in our first guest of season 10.
Sounds good to me.
It sounds good. It seems weird to be saying it, like first guest of season 10.
Season 10, mate. 10.
That's where we're at. So so I'm going to raise a glass to yourself, Mr. Fenris,
to you, sir,
to our mystery guest next week, and to all the amazing people who are listening or watching right now, or have downloaded and are watching or listening at a later date, or those that just always here, streaming and giving us their more than welcome and appreciated presence. Thank you all.
Thank you.
To you. Here's to a fabulous 2024, and we'll see you next week. Cheers, mate. Cheers, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.